Welcome to this presentation of the DBU Audit Journal plugin by ProData. Thank you for taking the time to allow us to present this feature of DBU software. The DBU Audit Journal plugin is available with current updates of the DBU 7.0 software. This is the complete version of the DBU Audit Journal plugin that will expire 30 days after you start the audit journal. The DBU Audit Journal plugin uses IBM journaling technology to write entries to a journal receiver detailing the changes made using DBU. This does not affect any current journaling you may have in place. Documentation for the DBU Audit Journal plugin is available at our website www.prodatacomputer.com, or please contact our technical support group so that they may answer any questions you may have about DBU Audit Journal plugin. In order to use the DBU Audit Journal plugin, you must have DBU 7.0 in your library list. You can use the Edit Library List command to edit your library list and position DBU 7.0 just below the QTemp library. Once you have the DBU software library in your library list, you can execute the command DBU AUD-MN to access the DBU Audit Journal menu. If your security strategy dictates the need, you may want to secure the DBU AUD-MN command and the associated menu option commands that appear to the right of the menu option. You can use object level authority to secure these commands. Option 1 allows you to start the audit journal. We would recommend using the defaults. However, the audit file library refers to the library you'll be using to keep the audit journal, associated receivers, and the extracted audit files in. The audit file naming convention refers to the extract file naming convention that will be preceded by the first four letters designated on this screen and then a series of numbers. The numbers are incremented for each extract file created. We will go into the extract files naming convention a little later in this presentation. Once you hit enter, you will return to the DBU Audit Journal menu, where you will notice that your journal is now active. Option 2 allows you to end the audit journal. There are no parameters for this option. Option 3 allows you to display the audit journal entries for a single file that has entries in the journal receiver. Once the audit journal has been started and changes made to an object using DBU, you can use option 3 to display the changes. We have already used DBU to make changes, so let's take a look at option 3. Here we need to specify a file name. We have a test file that we created in a test library. Once you make the specifications for the file and library, you can hit enter and you get the following screen. The starting journal receiver defaults to star current. You can specify a journal receiver name, or you can also specify star cur chain to chain out to all available journal receivers and receive journal entries from all journal receivers regarding the file that you specified. You can also specify a starting date and a starting time, and on the next screen you can also specify an ending date and ending time. You may also specify a particular job name where you will need to have the job user and the job number. Or you can specify a user profile to use. We're going to go with the defaults here. Once the system reads into the journal receiver and writes entries out for the file that you've specified, you are then presented with the DBU display screen looking at the entries for the file that you specified. This is in single record mode. We will move to multiple record mode using the F21 key, and you will notice that there are 6 records. The entry type is very indicative of what took place with the file. UB is an update before. UP is the post-update. Other entry types are PT for added, DL for deleted, RD for retrieved, and VW for viewed. Using the F4 key, you can select only certain fields that you'd like to display. Here we're going to select the entry type and the date of the entry, the name of the user, and then we'll page down and specify the field that we know was changed. However, that's because we researched it, and you might have to do the same. I'll show you how to do that very simply. Anyway, once we hit enter, we're then presented with just those fields. And we can see that record number 1 tells us that this was the update before update look at the record. And record number 2 was the post update. Notice that the field that was changed is highlighted. We also see the user that performed the update. Now let me go back into the field selection screen, and I'll show you how we can very easily find out what fields are changed so that you can make the correct selection that you want to. We'll remove the selection criteria that we specified earlier, and once we hit enter, we're back to the same screen we were at. Now, windowing over is a simple Shift F8 or the F20 key, where you window through the records, and you can window all the way over, and you'll notice that the highlighted fields are the fields that were changed. So I can very easily window over and find out what fields were changed and be able to select those fields only. One other thing I'd like to remind you is that this is the DBU display, and the search functionality is completely available with the DBU display. We can execute the F15 and make a selection, and what we will look at is the entry type. We'll select on entry type, and we will say equal to UP, so that we'll see only the post update. And we'll go down to create a subset of records and say UI, so that we create a complete subset of records. Once we hit enter, we can do the F16 to perform the search. Now we're only looking at the records in the file that were updated. We do not see the before look, we only see what was changed. Let's go back to the DBU Audit Journal menu. Option 4 allows you to extract journal entries for all objects changed using DBU or just specific objects. First, I'd like to show you option 5, which allows you to view extracted files. Option 5 shows us that there are no extracted files right now. If we exit back out and use option 4, we can specify *all for the file name and *all for the library name. You can specify the library and file name by the unique name of the file and library. We will also take the defaults for the journal receiver parameter that we explained earlier, although you can be very specific. Once you hit enter, this process will look at the journal receivers and create a separate extract file for each file that was changed or viewed if specified using DBU. When the process completes, you will return to the DBU Audit Journal menu, where we will then use option 5, as I showed you before, to view the extracted files. Depending upon the amount of files that have been changed and the size of the journal receivers, and whether you're chaining out to all the journal receivers, this function could take a little bit of time. This function can also be done in batch by executing a job that would execute the command to the right of option 4, DBU extract aud. Now we're going to take option 5 to view the extracted files. You'll notice that we now have files where we did not earlier. The object name refers to the extract file itself, and you can see that it is preceded by DBUJ, which we designated in option 1, and then a series of numbers. This will begin with the number 1 and increment each time an extract file is created. The library containing the extract file is designated. That would be DBU AUD. Also under the text, you'll see the system name, the library, and the file name of the file that was changed using DBU. We will select the last extracted file in this screen, and once we select that with an option 1 and hit enter, we will now use DBU to view that extracted file. You can see that this is much the same as the option 3 display. It's exactly DBU display screen. And you'll notice that under entry type here, they are all DL for deleted. Each one of these was a deleted record as detailed by the entry type. Again, you can use F4 to select only certain fields. And once you see that those two fields are selected, we have the entry type of DL and the name of the user that deleted the records. We'll go back out to the DBU Audit Journal menu, completely exiting the extracted files. Option 6 allows you to work with the extracted files. There's no parameters. Once you hit enter, here you can delete individual extracted files. Any data produced by the extract process can be reproduced if the journal receivers are still available. This cleanup process is the responsibility of the user. Option 7 allows you to remove all of the extract files from the audit library. This option does not remove the journal or journal receivers. We'll use option 7, and you'll notice that it has one parameter, yes, to clear the audit library. Once you hit enter, you can see that the DBU audit library has now been cleared. Using option 5, we'll see that we do not have any more extract files in there. However, because the journal receiver is still on the system, those extract files can be reproduced immediately. Option 8 allows us to specify objects that will have journal entries written when DBU is used to view the file. We'll take option 8 now so you can see what it looks like. You can specify the file name and the library name. You can also specify *all for the file name and then specify a library name, in which case all the files in that library will have journal entries written to the receiver anytime the record is viewed using DBU. We would advise caution using this option, as many journal entries can be written for files with significant record counts. Now let's go back to the DBU Audit Journal menu. Option 9 is used to maintain journal receivers. You can use this option to maintain the journal receivers, deleting them. If the journal receiver has not been saved and you try to delete it, you will receive a message informing you of that. We would recommend that you save the journal receivers before deleting if your security requirements dictate the need to archive the journal entries. Again, this is the responsibility of the user to keep the journal receivers maintained. We'll go back to the DBU Audit Journal menu. Option 10 is used to generate printed reports from the extracted files. You can specify *all to produce a report for every extracted file, or you can specify the first 4 letters of the naming convention to receive a list. You'll notice that because we didn't have any, we cleared it out using option 7, that we don't have any files to extract. So what we'll do is we'll go back out to the Audit Journal menu. We will again execute option 4 to create the extract files again so that we can produce a printed report. And again, DBU software is reading through the journal receiver and grouping all of the entries that refer to each particular file and placing them into an extract file that can then be used to view or print reports off of. Now, if we take option 10 and we specify DBU J*, we are now presented with those same files that we saw before. And if we go down and select that same one that we looked at and hit enter, the system is now producing a spool file report that will detail that activity. If I then take a look at that spool file that we just created, we'll see there are 12 pages, and this details each record and what the record looked like before it was deleted. Again, we'll see here that it has been marked as deleted. In each record there is that notation. Option 11 allows you to determine when the journal has been started and stopped. Again, you have the ability to chain out to all the journal receivers or name a specific journal receiver. And again, we're in the single record mode, and switching to the multiple record mode, we can see that the detail of ending and starting the journal is detailed in the entry type. JF stands for the journal was started. ES is the end function of the journal. Again, these entries will be available as long as the journal receivers are on the system. The journal receivers for the DBU Audit Journal are created with the option to allow the system to decide when to create a new receiver. This will occur when the journal receiver has reached its maximum size, or a new journal receiver will be created when the system is IPL'd. This concludes this presentation of the DBU Audit Journal plugin. Thank you for taking the time to allow us to present what we believe to be the most reliable method of auditing changes to your database using DBU. Thank you.